So today we're going to solve quadratic equations by completing the square. So here is what you do to complete the square. Number one, you get the equation in the form x squared plus bx equals c. And number two, add b over 2 squared to both sides. And number three, you solve for x. Okay, so let's look at an example. Okay, so here's an example. We have x squared plus 6x equals negative 8. Okay, so this is already in the form x squared plus bx equals c, right? Okay, so we can just go ahead with completing the square. Okay, so we add b over 2 squared to both sides, right? So here we have b equals 6. Okay, so b over 2 squared is really 6 over 2 quantity squared. Okay, so this is 3 squared, so this is 9. Okay, so we add 9 to both sides of the equation, so we have x squared plus 6x plus 9, okay, equals negative 8 plus 9. Okay, so we added 9 to both sides. Now the left-hand side, I'm going to factor. Okay, so this could be factored as x plus 3 quantity squared, okay, equals, okay, the right-hand side is negative 8 plus 9, so that's 1, like that. Okay, so to solve for x, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Okay, so I'm going to take the square root of quantity x plus 3 quantity squared equals, okay, the right hand side is going to be positive and negative, okay, square root of 1. Okay, so the left hand side is just x plus 3, okay, equals positive and negative 1, like this. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Okay, so this is going to be x equals, okay, positive and negative 1 minus 3. Okay, so x is essentially, okay, one of the x's is 1 minus 3, so that's negative 2. Okay, and the other one is negative 1 minus 3, so that's negative 4. Like that. Okay, and that is our solution. So here's another problem. We have x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0. Okay, so let's solve this. So first we have to get x squared plus bx equals c, right? So the problem here is that we have negative 15 on the left-hand side of the equation, and we want to move it to the right-hand side of the equation. Okay, so let's do that first. So we're going to have x squared plus 2x. Okay, negative 15 moves to the other side, and it becomes positive 15. So equals positive 15, like that. Okay. So now let's add b over 2 squared to both sides. So here we have b equals 2. Okay, so b over 2 squared is really 2 over 2 squared. Okay, so this is just 1 squared, so it's just 1. Okay, so we're going to add 1 to both sides. Okay, so we have x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 15 plus 1. Okay, just like that. Okay, so now let's factor the left-hand side. Okay, so this can be factored as x plus 1 quantity squared, okay, equals, okay, 15 plus 1, so that's just 16, like that. Okay, so now to solve for x, let's take the square root of both sides. Okay, so we're going to have square root of quantity x plus 1 quantity squared equals positive and negative square root of 16, like that. Okay, So the left-hand side is just x plus 1, okay, is equal to positive and negative. Square root of 16 is 4. Okay? So we have x equals positive and negative 4. 1 goes to the other side and that becomes minus 1. Okay, like that. So our solution is, one of them is 4 minus 1, so that's 3. Okay, the other one is negative 4 minus 1, so that's negative 5. That. And that is our solution. Okay, here's the next problem. We have 3x squared plus 9x minus 6 equals 0. So let's get the equation in the right form. Okay, but we have a 3 in front of x squared. Okay, and we want to get rid of that. Okay, so first let's divide both sides by 3 to get rid of it. Okay, so we gotta have x squared plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, dividing both sides by 3. Okay, now we have this negative 2 on the left hand side, so we want to move it to the right hand side. So that becomes x squared plus 3x, okay, equals positive 2, like this. Okay, so now that the equation is in the right form, let's add b over 2 squared to both sides. Right? So here we have b equals 3. Okay, so b over 2 squared is 3 halves quantity squared. Okay, like that. So this is really 9/4. Okay, like this. So we're going to add 9/4 to both sides. So that will be x squared plus 3x plus 9/4, okay, equals 2 plus 9/4, like this. Okay. So the key here is the left-hand side right now is in the form x squared plus bx plus quantity b over 2 quantity squared. Okay. So this could be factored as x plus b over 2, okay, quantity squared, like this. Okay, so we're going to take advantage of this to factor the left-hand side. So that will be x plus, well, b over 2 was calculated earlier, okay, so that's just 3 halves, okay, and all quantities squared, like this, plus equals 2 plus 9/4, okay? Well, 2 is just 8/4, okay, plus 9/4, okay? So essentially that's just quantity x plus 3 halves squared is equal to 17 over 4, okay? So now let's take the square root of both sides. Okay, so that's going to be square root of quantity x plus 3 halves squared is equal to positive and negative square root of 17 over 4, like this. So I'm going to go up to the top, but we have x plus 3 halves, okay, equals positive and negative, okay, that's square root of 17, and then in the denominator we have square root of 4, so that's just 2, like that. Okay, so to solve for x, I'm going to take 3 halves to the other side, so that's just x equals negative 3 halves plus and minus square root of 17 over 2, like this. Okay, so if you'd like, you could write this as negative 3 plus and minus square root of 17 all over 2, like this. And that is our solution. So this is how you solve quadratic equations by completing the square. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel by clicking on the subscribe button on the channel page. Thank you for watching.